Hey everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about Rules for Being a Girl by Candace Bushnell and Katie Cotugno.
I
Cotugno.
think it's Cotugno.
Con-
And yeah, Candace Bushnell.
Okay. Anyway, I got that from Edelweiss. How about you?
I did too, and we should probably just mention that we are social distancing.
What? We're
I
not
know.
even.
We're not only 6 feet away, we're like 6 miles away. Actually, more than.
that. Two different locations. It's hard to buddy read when you're not in the same room.
It is.
But discussing it is hard. I don't know.
It's also hard. Like, I always thought I was like an introvert, but I think I'm just a really shy, awkward extrovert. So like not being around people, it's hard.
Yeah, I'm an introvert.
See, I always thought I was introverted, but around like the second week, I'm like pacing, and we're on going into week 4, right?
Yeah,
We've done 3 whole weeks.
been a long time. I mean, and it's. I don't want to complain about it, but whatever. Anyway, we might as well just let
Talk
me
about the
introduce.
book.
Okay, so Marin's the stellar student who's ready to get into an Ivy League kind of concept. She's the editor of the paper. She's star student. And she has a favorite teacher, Bex, who is this young English teacher who just seems to know everything, get everything, and he's the coolest. But something untoward happens between Bex and Marin, and it totally kind of throws off her whole school game. And she's saying certain things happened. He's, totally denying it, and people are kind of coming at her saying she's wrong. She doesn't have the support of the school. So in her way to fight back, she started kind of using her editorials to take aim at this teacher, and she started a feminist book club. And so this book club is kind of bringing in different people she wouldn't typically kind of interact with, and she's learning things that she wouldn't typically know. And so that's where she meets Gray, who she assumed was just kind of like this lacrosse bro who didn't have a thought in his head. But it turns out he's a feminist. He's definitely much more thought out than she originally thought. And so she is just in this interesting place where, the teacher is using his power against her, and she is trying to figure out kind of how to navigate these waters. And I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to give much away.
Right. So I will admit, I didn't really want to read this. We decided to read it because the one author wrote Sex and the City. This book got me. I sat and read this book in 5.5 hours. I couldn't put it down.
I agree with you. And the thing is, the student teacher trope is totally one of my triggers that I don't like to read. Typically I just don't like those books. And of course this is what this book is about, but it had me, and it's believable. It's realistic. It's not this over the top plot that you're just come on. It's all insidious and believable. And yeah.
Well, you can believe he exists. You can believe that he did what he did and that the school sided with him. And then you can believe it's even in the description that he has an axe to grind with her, and everything he does to her, you're yeah, you can see that. And you can see the school treating her that way. But you can also see how it wasn't her fault, how she's just trying to get through the day, and these people just don't care.
Well, and the thing is, she takes steps, because in some of these books, the girls will go totally off the rails and burn the house down kind of concept. But she definitely takes these very kind of realistic steps to while she doesn't tell her parents, it's understandable, but she takes the step to tell certain people, and tell certain people that are high up in the school. She does all of the steps that you would hope and expect and that are realistic, and the way that it doesn't pan out for her is also very realistic and understandable. It's not this over the top kind of plot points. It's very understandable. And the thing is, at one point it does get very like Scooby-Doo mystery where like, you know, they unmask the character, and I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these kids. Like there's a certain part like
Which
that
you see it coming. You see what's going to happen. But by then I was all in.
Because it had been developed enough and it had been realistic enough to that point that you're accepting it.
Well, and even though that was a little over the top, you're like, I could see that happen. But also, when the parents do get involved, the parents were like, great. And I like the fact, because in YA books, you don't usually get to have a good parent. And some people have good parents.
Yeah. Like what happened wasn't positive, but I think the steps that she takes afterwards are positive, and I think are a good roadmap for like how you like not how you should react, but like steps you could take afterwards.
Well, and there are so many books about this. There's so many like Me Too books, and there needs to be a lot of books about this. This needs to be a discussion, but this one to me was just done way better than a lot of other ones.
Yeah. See, and you're right. This is a Me Too book, but I don't consider it a Me Too book just because it's part of that trope, the student teacher, that really kind of bugs me. It does it better than a lot of the student teacher tropes, but you're right, it does do it better as a Me Too book as well.
Well, like I said, I really did not want to read this. Like I put this off. I only started reading it 2 days ago. I'm like, I'm going to basically get it done like 20 minutes before we did the call. And I seriously started at like 7:00 Friday night, and I finished it before I went to bed. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, it is very good.
So we should rate it.
Let's rate it. Our rating scale goes from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, doesn't get a horn, is therefore a horse. Where are you?
I'm at a solid 4. They hooked me. I liked the characters. I was all in.
See, and when I talk about it, I feel like it should be a 4, but I want to give it a 3, and I don't know why.
Well then.
I don't
Is it
know.
just because of the teacher-student thing?
I think that's part of it, but I also think it's the friend thing. The plot point that we don't really want to talk about, I think it's that's really kind of making me hesitate.
But like I said, like I felt like by that point, I could see it happening. Like I knew that was going to happen. But I feel like
I did too, but I just don't know if I like I think that's coloring it. Like I think I didn't like that.
So are you going with a 3?
Half, but we don't do halves, so, and I just don't know if I'm passionate enough to make it a 4. So I think I'm going to have to stay at a 3.
Any book that hooks me and I sit and read it in one sitting gets a 4.
I mean, and that's fair. I mean, I did read through this very quickly, and I did like it. I just don't know.
You've got to pick a number.
I'm going to stick with a 3. I'm going to have to.
That is your right. And so that is where we are on rules for being a girl. Not rules. What do I keep thinking? I kept typing in.
It's rules for being a girl.
But I think I keep typing rules to be a girl. And Goodreads doesn't find that. So that's where we are on rules for being a girl. We'll see you around.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.